yeah, Eagles fans. Oh, yeah. You know, I don't even have to say it. I don't even have to say it because I'm so excited. But guess what? I'm going to say it anyways. We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. That's right. We're going to the Super Bowl. The Eagles versus the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. The Eagles beat those Niners 31-7. 31-7. My prediction was way off. I had this as a closer game, 24-20. But man, did our defense come out there and say, you know what? For all y'all who think this is going to be a close game, we're about to prove you wrong. And they did exactly that. But man, before I start going over this the recap of this game, I just want to address all them haters out there. That's right. All you haters. Everybody that's hated on this team all year said we were frauds. We had an easy schedule. Wait till we play a real team. And guess what? The 49ers was the realest team in the NFC that we could have played this year. And we made them look like, man, we made them look like a wild card team, like a 6 seed team coming in there, or should I say a 7 seed team. They were nowhere on our level. But I have to give them credit though, because they did come to play. I mean, they just ran into a little issues, and we'll go over it during my recap in this game. But man, for everybody hating, and you know what? I'm not the type of person that's going to talk a lot of smack or a lot of trash. You know, I let the team do that for me. So, you know what I'm saying? I'll talk about the team, how they're doing. And if I say they're going to win the game, I let them go out there and let them win it. Like I might talk a little, you know, Twitter trash. I might put some tweets out there during the game, but you know, just let people know, you know, exactly how I thought the game was going or something that may have surprised me during the game. But I'll talk a little bit of trash on Twitter, but I waited, you know what I'm saying? I said I'm going to wait until we get to the Super Bowl because guess what? Nobody's gonna be able to say anything, but there's still gonna be people that are gonna have something to say about this game. You know, Brock Purdy got hurt. It would have been like no, there's no such thing. What happened in that game is what happened. There's nothing you can do or change. And what happened in that game, that's the way the game was played. If you was to play that game like 10 times, 10 out of 10 times, the same thing probably would have happened to Brock Purdy. Nothing would have changed in that game. That game probably would have still ended up the same way it ended. You know, maybe out of those 10 times, they might have made it a closer game, but you know, that's just the way the game went. So let's get into this into the recap of this game. So the weather was not great, but it wasn't that bad. It was just a little bit of rain on the field, a little bit windy, but that really didn't affect the outcome of the game. I mean, there wasn't really a lot of fumbles or anything, especially like running the ball, which I was kind of like surprised. But there were turnovers. And I'm going to start with our offense since we got the ball first. So our offense gets the ball first, and they basically start moving the ball down the field on this 49ers defense, supposed to be the number one defense in the NFL. And, you know, to my surprise, we ran up the middle, ran straight at their linebackers. And them jokers started dropping like flies, man. I was like, are they going to have enough people to, like, finish out this game? They're going to have all their like backups. Like every time I turned around, there was a 49er hurt. You know, like it was just like one of those games did they do their strength and, conditioning, prior to this game, or were they already hurt coming into this game, which that probably could have been the reason why some of these guys were going down, but trying to play through injuries. And I mean, I understand that because it's late in the season and guys want to play. They don't want to sit out, especially for an NFC Championship game. They're going to go in there and play hurt. But we started taking to them, start doing everything we've done all season long, pounding on the defense, methodically moving the ball down the field. I mean, I'm going to give the 49ers defense a lot of credit because, man, those guys are fast. They were on the ball. They were stopping the run at first, but then that 4th and 2 came up and Jalen rolled out and hit Devontae Smith. I mean, they say it wasn't a catch, but man, you gotta get that man that catch because Devontae Smith is a beast. Man, he went up there one-handed that ball and brung it in. I mean, could the ground have helped him catch that ball? Yes, but I mean, you can't really tell because like the ball looked like it might have been like on the ground, but he had like both hands underneath the ball when he came up. But don't. I mean, I think it could have went either way, but it probably would. If they would have went to replay, they probably would have said it was incomplete because the ball appeared to touch the ground. So if they felt the ball touched the ground, it would have been an incomplete pass. But that got us inside the red zone, and that was it. Pounded it in, and we went up 7-0. But then after that, like the offense just seemed to kind of like sputter, which was kind of weird to me. I think, I'm gonna start with Jalen Hurts because this probably wasn't his best game. I mean, he only threw for 121 yards, 25 times, 121. He was off on some of the passes. Like even that pass to Devontae Smith was a good pass, but it wasn't like Devontae Smith had to go up and make that catch. I mean, it might have been the only place that Jalen Hurts could have put the ball, but that was a great catch. But the one pass to A.J. Brown, he was gone. He was wide open. Like if he would hit him in stride, that would have been a touchdown. A.J. Brown would have took that to the house. It just seemed like Jalen Hurts was off on his throws this game. And I mean, I think he's still like favoring that shoulder. I think it's worse now. Like I thought they probably would have been playing possum about his injury. But after seeing him throw, especially these past 2 games and us not really throwing the ball as much as we usually do, I think he is favoring that shoulder more. And they might have been like, trying to conserve it too, in case we did win this game. They wanted to do a lot more running, trying to keep the ball on the ground, not have Jalen Hurts throw for like 30, 35 times with that shoulder. And really he was just doing like a lot of, short passes, like slants across the middle, hitting Dallas Goedert. But I mean, he didn't take a lot. He took a couple of shots downfield, but most of those passes were like off target. And I think his shoulder is affecting his accuracy right now. So hopefully by the time Super Bowl come around with 2 more weeks of rest, he'll be able to air it out more. I think in the Super Bowl he's definitely going to air it out because it's the last game. You're not worried about having to play another game after that. It just do what you got to do in the off season to get that, to get it fixed, recuperate, get treatment or whatever. Hopefully you won't need surgery or anything, but I think he's going to go all out in the Super Bowl. I think you're going to see a lot more passing, but I'll get into that later on. As the closer we get to the Super Bowl, and I'll talk about that more when I do the game preview of the Super Bowl. And of course, if you didn't know, the Eagles will be playing the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going up against our old pops, man, old Andy Reid, Kool-Aid man. We're going up against him, and the Kelsey brothers going up against each other. And if you don't listen to the Kelsey Brothers podcast, the New Heights, I suggest you listen to it. It's a good podcast. I listened to it, and it's very entertaining, and it's interesting hearing stuff from two Hall of Fame or future Hall of Famers talk about football, talk about themselves. They have other athletes come on there, tell their side of of their careers and stuff like that. It's a good podcast. I know these next 2 weeks, man, they're gonna have some interesting. They're gonna have some interesting material, especially with their teams going up against each other. I can't wait to hear what they got to say. But all right, let's get back. Sorry, got off track. But yeah, Jalen Hurts, man, I think he's still favoring that shoulder. Hopefully, I think like I said, I think he's gonna go all out in the Super Bowl. He's not gonna care, because I think mentally the coaching staff and himself in their minds, like, if we win this game, we still need to take care of Jalen. And I think he's in his mind, he's doing that too. And he was playing kind of conservative too. And I tweeted out that I think he just needs to loosen up. He just needs to do what he been doing during the season. Don't be scared to put the ball out there. You know what I'm saying? I know he was probably worried about making mistakes and stuff like that, especially when it was 7-0 and then they finally tied it up at 7-7. He was probably more reluctant to make mistakes. So, but one thing I can say, man, we kept it on the ground. Man, did we keep it on? This is supposed to be the number one rushing defense in the NFL. And we ran for our average. We averaged 154 yards, and I think we ran for 150. But the stats are probably, because I think Gardner Minshew with the kneel downs, it probably brung it down below 150, but 150 yards. We rushed for 150 yards. We used every running back on on our roster, and I want to give shouts out to at Talking 215 and BSing Sports podcast, because we did a podcast together, and we did over unders on this, and we stated on there that it's going to be we was going to use the 3 backs, because teams this season that beat the 49ers, that they use a 3 player approach when it came to rushing the ball, and it worked. They were stopping Miles Sanders. Like, Miles Sanders would, he would have a few runs here and there, but he wasn't getting any more than like 4 yards a carry. And I give their defense credit, man. They're a good defense. I can't deny it, but they were on the field a lot. Because their offense wasn't able to do anything against our defense, but they're on the field a lot. So I know they were tired as the game went on. We just wore them down, man. They started making mistakes, started getting penalties. They were doing face masks. They were holding, doing hands to the face. Like, it was just, they were making so many mistakes out there. But I think, I think I attribute that to probably fatigue, because they were out there for a while. And then when you have a team just running down your throat, it just makes it even worse. But Gainwell, oh man, Kenneth Gainwell, old Kenny, man, he rushed for over 100 yards last week, and this week he didn't rush for a lot, but he was a pace changer in that game, man. When we ran Miles Sanders, brought Kenneth Gainwell in, it was just a change of pace, and it just seemed like the 49ers were unable to adjust to Kenneth Gainwell. Like, he like, when they knew we were running, they would stop him, but when the game was still a little bit closer, like they just couldn't adjust to him or Boston Scott. Like just change the pace because all three of those guys are like different, in their running styles. And it kind of affected the way they played on defense, which was smart on our coaching staff to do that. And so, I mean, other than that, I mean, the offense just, I mean, I'm surprised we killed them on the ground like that. Like we controlled the game. I mean, we took like 6 minutes like off the clock in one drive in the second half. Like they knew we was running, and we still was able to run the ball on them. And man, one thing I could want to say before I go to the defense is I was surprised they didn't do any like quarterback runs, like designed quarterback runs with Jalen Hurts in the first half. It seemed like they were not trying to run him. Like Jalen would just run to escape the pocket, escape pressure if nobody was open down the field. But in the second half, when we started doing more quarterback runs, that's when they start opening up the run some more. Like now they saw, okay, oh shit, like Jalen Hurts is running. So now we need to definitely stay on them. And that opened up the run. I was hoping like the first run they did was a quarterback run with Jalen Hurts. But they didn't. They just kept running like the traditional, inside zone runs with Miles Sanders. It was working on that first drive, but after that, it just seemed like our offense just became stagnant. Their defense adjusted very well. I'll give credit to them. D'Amico Ryans, he adjusted, and they I think the next 2 or 3 drives they stopped us, and they even stopped us when we were in our own 5-yard line, and they gave them better field position to be able to score. That's when they scored a touchdown. And what surprised me too is they really did very well in coverage. Like they really did shut down like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Like those guys could not get open. I'll tell you, I knew they would shut down Dallas Goedert, and they did that. But I didn't think those. I thought this was going to be an AJ Brown game. I thought he was going to have at least over 100 yards receiving, and that didn't happen. But if he would have caught that, if Jalen Hurts would have threw a perfect pass to him on that one go route, man, he would have took that to the house. He probably would have had he still probably wouldn't have had over 100 yards. He would have been close. But it was just I was kind of disappointed in that. But like I said, I think they were, Jalen is not still 100%, and he was just, I don't know. I think he was just scared to make mistakes. I think all the talk has finally kind of caught up with Jalen, especially now making it this far. I think now in his mind, he's like, man, if I lose this because of something I did, then they're going to say that, oh, see, we told you he can't win the games. I think that's in his head. And hopefully now the Super Bowl, hey, it don't matter now. You could lose the Super Bowl and still, I mean, it's still going to say, whether we win or lose, they're always going to say something about Jalen. So he needs to understand that he needs to go out there and just do his thing. All right, so let's go to our defense. Hassan Reddick. He was on a mission. Hey, y'all didn't want to pick me to be a finalist to play defensive player of the year. I'm about to shut this game down myself. I tell you what, this was a defensive game, except they picked the wrong defense. Everybody thought the Niners was going to do something to us. We proved we're the number 1 defense out there. That's right. We proved we're the number 1. I don't know where all this talk is that they're number 1 because they allowed the least points per game, but we're only 1 yard behind them. They allowed 300, we allowed 301. Really, that makes you like way better than us. Like the only thing I can say they were better than us in is rushing yards per game. I give them credit for that, and and we destroyed that on offense. But Hassan Reddick, 2 sacks. That first sack knocked Purdy out the game. I was like, hey, like BG said last week, we're gonna be all over that arm. Hey, Hassan Reddick was all over that arm. I knew as soon as he hit it and it let go, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that's not a pass. I think he just like the momentum like made the ball go out like that. And I was hoping we intercepted it just in case, but they didn't come up with it. And but when they reviewed it, it was a fumble, and I knew it. And then we didn't even get a score off of that turnover, which I was kind of disappointed in. I was hoping the offense would go out there and we'd be up 14 points already. But then when I saw that Purdy was hurt and wasn't coming back in the game, I was like, man, this game's over. There's no way, no way in hell. I don't care who they have out there on defense. You could put on offense. I mean, you can put all the best players, the best skill position players in the NFL on that offense, and they're not going to be able to beat us with that fourth string or backup quarterback they have. Ain't no way. Man, our defense was just applying too much pressure on the quarterback. They couldn't do anything. And then, boom, their quarterback got knocked out. They had no quarterbacks, man. I never seen that. I mean, I think I've seen it one time where, a team had to put in an emergency quarterback, but not in no NFC Championship game. They had no quarterbacks. Like they would Christian McCaffrey was going to have to be quarterback, or Juice was going to have to be quarterback. But I give Brock Purdy credit, man. He went in there and said, okay, I'll do it. But they didn't. They couldn't pass the ball. They just had to run. They just became one-dimensional. But I'll tell you what, before I go into that further, but man, that run by Christian McCaffrey, oh my God. I've never been a big fan of McCaffrey, but man, he kind of earned my respect in this game, because the 49ers offense, that was it. It was Christian McCaffrey. We shut down Deebo Samuel. We shut down IU, shut down the quarterback. All they had was Christian McCaffrey. He put that team on their back. And they still scored a touchdown. I didn't think they was going to score a touchdown at all. I thought, okay, maybe a field goal. But, man, that run he did, that touchdown run, I can't believe. Like, Marcus Epps is probably one of the best tacklers on our team. And that's why I say you can't just tackle, just use your shoulder, especially on a running back like Christian McCaffrey. Just go in there and hope you just hit him with your shoulder and he goes down. You got to wrap that guy up. Like if Epps would have wrapped him up instead of just shooting in with his shoulder, that's it. They probably would just kick the field goal. They probably would only had 3 points like the whole entire game. But that run, man, he broke like 4 tackles. I give him credit, man. That was a good run. Like my head almost exploded when he scored that touchdown. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I think that was like the worst play the defense allowed in the game. And for some reason, like, I don't know, like all season long, we've been having problems with the screens. I mean, they did a decent job today, but there are some screens like they shouldn't have got first downs, like 10-yard gains on. I don't understand why. We knew they're going to run screens. That's the only way you get our defense. They try to spread us out wide and try to get one-on-one matchups on the edge. But I think we need to do something. I mean, the Chiefs are not a big screen team, but Andy Reid is. And Andy Reid, if he studies this defense and if he sees we're susceptible to the screen, he's going to screen you to death. And he's one of the best screen coaches in the NFL. And we know this as Eagles fan because we used to run some great screens here in when he was in Philadelphia. But I mean, other than that, this game was just, it did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I mean, I knew we was going to put pressure on Purdy. I was going to fluster him and we was going to get sacks, and we was going to cause him to turn over the ball. Even with a healthy Purdy in there, man, I don't think it would have mattered. Like, if Purdy could have played the whole game, it wouldn't have mattered. Like, we would have won. I think the offense probably would have played a little bit, like probably a little bit better. But I think once we saw that, Purdy was out, the play call for the offense kind of went. I don't know. I guess we just wanted to keep it on. I think we knew we could beat them if we kept it on the ground. They weren't going to be able to do anything against us. But I just really didn't like the play calling in this game for our offense. But other than that, we won 31-7. We're going on to the Super Bowl February 12th. Going to play the Chiefs, our old coach. And I just can't wait, man. This gonna be. I said this was gonna be a great game, but I'm not gonna say it now. But it's gonna be a great game against the Chiefs. So I'm glad this team finally made it. So let's go to the fan zone. The fan zone. All right. So a lot of fans represent, on for the team, especially like on Twitter. Um, Great fans, best fans in the world, and everybody's just happy, excited about this team going to Super Bowl again, and hopefully bringing trophy number 2. I still even got over the first trophy, man. If we bring another trophy, it's gonna be great. I can probably, I'll be good. 2 trophies, we'll never have to win again. I mean, I say that now, but then I'm like, damn, we need to get another Super Bowl. It's like, it's addictive. All right, so I will give a shout out to some of the fans. I'll give a shout out to Aaron, Nelson, Dylan T. I'm afraid not. Unapologetically, Treya, Black Cherry 1, Jay Koski, Crystal, Big_J, Fly High Philly, Greg, Fred Flores, Amanda Gruder. Let me see. Bear with me, like I said, there's always a lot of fans like on games day I want to get shots out to. Like I said, this is a fans podcast. So we have Jordan, it's a Philly thing, A Goldbirds, Rafa Super Bowl 57 pounds, Underwhelmed, Patricia C, Nate, Christian, Philly fan, 20XX, Urge, Lee. Like I said, still, it's probably these are a lot of fans I've gave shots out to before. Shouts out to them on multiple podcast episodes, but if these are the ones that be representing a lot. Kush Queen, Justin Fuller, Eaglin, Shanna Wilson. I just got to make sure I don't repeat people. Virgo Child 84. And I also want to give a shout out again to Any Given Sunday Australia podcast. Like I said, if you want to get an international view of the NFL, how they root for teams here, and I know one of them is an Eagles fan, so I recommend y'all go over there, give them a listen to Any Given Sunday Australia podcast. LFJ, Quan, Drew Playoffs, Bald Batman, Fly Eagles Fly, Bleed Kelly Green, Eagles Lover, Eagles Apologist in DC. And I had posted on Twitter, I was like, watch. They got the backup quarterback in there. The 49ers going to run like 50 screenplays. And as soon as the next pass play they ran was I think every pass play they ran was a screenplay, or they try to run jet sweeps and reverses and stuff. I was like, they in for a big day, a big day. Stu Vision says, and Bill Nave, y'all fans, I'm getting shout outs to for well, not this week, well, probably for this week. Appreciate y'all representing the birds, doing your thing, and we Super Bowl bound. And like I said, I probably won't do a game preview until we get closer, but I do want to do episodes leading up to the Super Bowl, and I want to get fans to come on here and tell me how you feel about the team. Just talk about how the season was for you, like who your favorite players were. What do you do, or what are you going to do now with the Super Bowl? Are you going to Arizona to watch it? Are you getting tickets, which are expensive? Or are you going to go to Arizona just to hang out and enjoy the festivities and watch the game with other Eagles fans? Because that's what I plan on doing. Hopefully I can get out there and hang out with other Eagles fans and watch the game. I wasn't able to make it up for the playoffs. I was trying to, but just with scheduling and everything, it didn't line up for me correctly. So hopefully this I can get out to Arizona and go out there and watch games with other Eagles fans and enjoy us winning the Super Bowl. So like I said before, if you want to come up on the show, I'll probably put a post on Twitter and Facebook when I'm to go live, and I'll have a link. If you want to join me on it, just all you do is just click on the link. You can send messages or chats on the live, or you can come up on video or just audio and tell me how you feel about the birds. And then you can also go over to my YouTube page and subscribe if you listen on here, because I will go live on YouTube sometimes too, and during this time, just to talk about the birds and talk with other Eagles fans about this game. So you can get at me on Twitter at UMCIE, send me messages there, or just at me with a comment and I'll respond to you. And you can also go over to our Facebook page at Angry Birds Fans Hangout. Follow us there. Send me a message on there, and also on YouTube at Angry Birds Fans Hangout. And I have videos there, some hype videos and some videos about the Eagles, and my podcast episodes on there too. So if you're listening to this podcast on your podcast platform and you can't see the video of this podcast, then you can go over to YouTube and listen to it there if you want to watch, or if you want to watch the video of the podcast. I mean, it's not nothing fantastic or amazing going on here, but sometimes I will put up stats or something on here that you can't see while listening to podcasts. So if you listen to the podcast and you're like, I want to see what he was talking about, then you can go to YouTube and look at the video there. But in that, we're Super Bowl bound, baby. That's right. let's go Birds. So until next time, fly, Eagles, fly.